Μάθα ότι ο πρόεδρος της ευκήκε μια φορά, ήπιε ποτό και αποφάσισε που ήταν μεθυσμένος να αγοράσει ομάδα και αγόρασε την αλήθεια.
Yes.
Φίλες και φίλοι μου, καλή χρονιά σε όλους. Επιστρέψαμε πρώτο επεισόδιο για το 2026, Andrea's Playbook powered by Bet on Alpha και δεν είμαι μόνη μου αυτή τη χρονιά. Χάρη Σημεού είναι μαζί μας. Welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be in Cyprus.
Τον είχαμε στην παρέα μας μέσω Skype, που είναι Skype πλέον, αλλά εγώ λέω το ακόμα Skype. Και accidentally συνεννοηθήκαμε ότι θα έρθει στην Κύπρο και καταφέραμε τα και είσαι μαζί μας σήμερα. Είμαι πολύ χαρούμενη, Χάρη, να ξέρεις, που είσαι μαζί μας.
Thank you. Έστειλες μου μήνυμα τέλεια πας την ώρα που ήταν να σου στείλω εγώ, να σου πω ότι ήταν να έρθω Κύπρο.
Ναι, να πω ότι στείλα του μήνυμα για να του πω ότι θέλουμε να ξαναέρθει στην εκπομπή μας, να βγεις online και είπες μου ότι θα είμαι στην Κύπρο, ναι. Οπότε τρίκεξε πάρα πολύ ωραία. Να πούμε ότι έχεις ρίζες ξανά από την Κύπρο. Έρχεσαι κάθε χρόνο.
Κάθε χρόνο, κάποτε 2-3 φορές το χρόνο. Εξαρτάται πώς πάνε τα πράγματα.
Άρα που βρέχει, είπαμε ότι έφερες τη βροχή μαζί σου από το London. Πώς περνάς τις μέρες σου? Ήρθες χθες το βράδυ, είναι μεταγραφή αεροδρομίου. Εξήγησα πριν το Χάρη πώς το έρθες στην Κύπρο. Και τι έφαγες χθες το βράδυ?
Σουβλάκια, όπως πρέπει. Σουβλάκι χοιρινών με τις σεφταλιές και πατάτες, κυπριακές πατάτες. Perfect.
Ότι πρέπει να νιώσεις ότι ήρθες στην Κύπρο.
Exactly.
Είσαι excited να έρχεσαι Κύπρο?
Yeah, of course.
Ανυπομονείς?
Of course.
Θα ήθελες να μετακομίσεις μόνιμα?
100%.
Τόσο πολλά. Ναι, αλλά να πρέπει να είσαι, κάνεις τη δουλειά που κάνεις στην Κύπρο. Θα μπορούσες.
Το πρόβλημα που έχω είναι ότι η δουλειά μου είναι πας στο Premier League. Δεν μπορώ να φύγω από το Premier League.
Και να έρθεις στη Cyprus League.
Όχι για το ποδόσφαιρο, ας πούμε, αλλά δεν μπορείς να είσαι commentator, να δουλεύεις σε παιχνίδια και να μένεις εκεί.
Σίγουρα, όχι, δεν μπορεί να γίνει με απόσταση. Ναι. Αλλά είναι και το προϊόν διαφορετικό, χωρίς να θέλω να υποτιμήσω εντάξει, το κυπριακό ποδόσφαιρο, αλλά νομίζω είναι πολλά διαφορετικό το vibe το να είσαι στην Premier League. Συγκρίνεται με κανέναν άλλον. Οπότε νομίζω ότι τον έτσι ένα μεγάλο. Συν που είσαι μόνος σου, ήρθες οικογενειακός?
Ήρθα μόνος μου.
Ήρθες μόνος σου?
Μόνος μου,
Έχει και 3 παιδάκια ο Χάρη, να τους ζήσουν, να το χαίρονται. Μπράβο σας που έχετε 3 παιδάκια. Θα με λέμε πριν ο Φέαρο ότι με ένα και δυσκολευκούμαστε. Έχεις φέρει τα παιδάκια σου από εκεί, προνή ακόμα?
Ναι, τους έχω φέρει και να έρθουμε το καλοκαίρι όλοι μαζί. Να κάνουμε 3 εβδομάδες.
Άρα θα κάνουμε γύρισμα το καλοκαίρι.
That's the plan. Enjoy life here a bit as well.
Ποιο ήταν το τελευταίο παιχνίδι που δούλεψες πριν έρθεις στην Κύπρο?
Ήταν το Portsmouth με το Arsenal στο FA Cup την Κυριακή.
FA Cup, τέλειο.
Το Arsenal νίκησε 4-1. Ήταν ωραίο παιχνίδι. Γύρισε πίσω Kai Havertz μετά από το injury. So yeah, it's good. Very quickly I had to switch out of that mode and get ready to get the plane and come to Cyprus.
Στην Κύπρο μπορούμε να πούμε λίγο έτσι γιατί θα κάνεις, θα θέλεις. Τα πλάνα σου, ας πούμε, τι θα κάνεις αύριο μεθαύριο?
So my plan is to make a sort of podcast/radio documentary about Paphos FC and the rise of the football club. Because for me, when I used to come to Cyprus as a kid, sometimes I used to go to matches in Cyprus and I used to go and watch Anorthosi because that's who my cousins support.
Okay.
I used to go and see Omonia, I used to go and see Aboel.
The big rivals.
AEL sometimes in Lemeso.
Ποτέ όμως δεν πήγες ούτε στην ΑΕΠ ούτε στα κούκλια, γιατί είναι οι ομάδες που ενώθηκαν για την Πάφο, δεν είπες ποτέ όμως να τις δεις.
No. So for me, to see Buffalo grow the way it has is a shock. It's come out of nowhere.
For all of us.
Yeah, exactly. And you see the level of support that they have, and they're still growing, but it's different to Omonia, Aboel. So for me, it's a really interesting story. And because I'm from Cypriot background, when I'm in London and we talk about the Champions League, people always say to me, where did Buffos come from? They've heard of Omonia because they've played Manchester United. They've heard of Aboel because they had a run in the Champions League, Anorthosi as well. But Buffos has come from nowhere.
Εσχολιάστηκε πάρα πολλά η Πάφος, και από ξένα μέσα, μεγάλα μέσα, και στην Αγγλία και σε άλλες χώρες. Για την ιστορία, μόλις μαθεύτηκε ότι ιδρύθηκε το 2014, νομίζω. Έπαθαν όλοι σοκ ότι μια ομάδα του 2014, ότι ήταν στη δεύτερη κατηγορία κτλ. Όταν μαθεύτηκε και η ιστορία της Πάφου, νομίζω ότι διαφορετήκαν ακόμα παραπάνω ο κόσμος. Να την παρακολουθήσει, να τη διαβάσει, να τη δει. Οπότε νομίζω είναι πολύ ενδιαφέρον project. Ακόμα και οι συνάδελφοι που την Ελλάδα που γνωρίζουν σέρφους στην Κύπρο, που έχω και εγώ πρώην συναδέρφους, πάντα ρωτούν μας. Γιατί έφυγε ο Καρσέδο, τι έγινε με την Πάφο. Ξέρεις, είναι πολύ δύσκολο να πετύχεις κάτι έτσι στο Champions League.
Και για μας στην Αγγλία, ο Καρσέδο ήταν μαζί με τον Unai Emery για πολλά χρόνια. So for us, he's a known person.
Ναι.
So when an English person sees a coach of that level say, I'm going to go manage Bafos in Cyprus, you go, with all due respect to Bafo, you say, why? It must be a really exciting project. So then they want to learn more about it. And then David Luiz signing, that was massive.
Ναι.
Because David Luiz didn't just have a Premier League career, he had a great Premier League career with Chelsea and with Arsenal. And by the time he left Arsenal, he was a bit of a hero because he helped the club through a really difficult time when they were changing a lot. And so when he signed for Bafos, everybody got up and went, hold on a minute, this is a serious project.
Ναι.
So that's why I'm here. I'm here to make a piece on them. We hopefully get some access from the club as well, speak to some cool people, yourself as well, and and build a little project so that we can go back to England and tell people the story of Bafos and how it grew from a much smaller club to what it is today.
Νιώθεις ωραία που γίνεται το πράγμα, ενώ μπορεί να, εντάξει, είσαι Κύπριος που ζει εξωτερικό, αλλά είναι πάρα πολύ ωραίο ότι άμα πίνει κάποια ομάδα καλά, ότι έρχονται να σου το σχολιάσουν, να σε ρωτήσουν. Εμένα αρέσει και μου το πράγμα, γιατί έτσι συμβαίνει έναν Premier League που ενδεδομένων κτλ. Είναι ωραίο για κάποιον που έχει σχέση με την Κύπρο με οποιοδήποτε τρόπο να έχει μια επιτυχία τόσο μεγάλη στο Champions League.
Yeah, of course. I mean, for us in England, the Cypriots in England, all four of my grandparents are from Cyprus. My mum and dad were born in England, but all four of my grandparents were born in Cyprus and came to England. So for us, even though we're not born here, we still feel a connection to Cyprus. It's very important to us. And it's nice when people stop you in the road and they say, oh, what's going on in Cyprus? And they talk to you about something other than the Cyprus problem, souvlagya, or the weather. It's not halloumi, yeah, exactly. It's nice to have a different conversation. And right now we get to have it about the football, which is great.
Οπότε, πάμε πίσω στην Premier League. Θες να ξεκινήσουμε από τη United?
Θέλεις.
Τι γίνεται με τη United? Είναι χάος η κατάσταση.
Yeah, το United έχει μεγάλα προβλήματα. Τώρα έφυγε ο Ruben Amorim πριν λίγες μέρες. And that was strange because the ownership at Manchester United kept telling everybody that he was going to be given time. But the week before last, he did a press conference after the Leeds game, and he basically came out and said that the ownership were not doing their job properly. He talked about the sporting director not being good enough, not doing his job while he was doing his job. And
he was honest.
And yeah, he was honest, and the minute he spoke like that, you knew that it was finished. And the next morning he was gone. So the relationship was broken.
Το πρόβλημα είναι διοικητικό. Νομίζω ότι αντιλαμβάνονται το όλοι. Δεν μπορεί να πάνε οι ποδοσφαιριστές το πρόβλημα ή οι προπονητές, γιατί άλλαξαν πάρα πολλούς. Και βλέπουμε και παίχτες οι οποίοι έφυγαν, π.χ. ο Ράσφορντ παράδειγμα, ότι μια χαρά τα πάσχει. Όποιος είναι μακριά από τη United είναι μια χαρά. Μόλις έρθει στην ομάδα, πώς μπορεί να λύνεται το πράγμα, να πούμε, τι πρέπει να γίνει.
Που τον καιρό που έφυγε ο Sir Alex Ferguson, έπηγαν όλα κάτω.
Ναι.
Εκείνος διάλεξε τον προπονητή που ήρθε μετά, ο David Moyes. Ο David Moyes είναι καλός, αλλά δεν είναι πάνω σε αυτό το level να δουλεύει σε Manchester United. Έφυγε και εκείνος, and they keep making changes. But when you bring in Van Gaal, Mourinho, and all of these managers struggle, it means that the club is broken, and it's not the players, it's not any one thing. No. But how do they fix it? The problem that Manchester United have is commercially, they're the biggest club in the world, but they have owners that are taking the money out and using it for other things. And that's why Manchester United have declined the way they have. It's nothing to do with, it is partly to do with what happens on the pitch, but it all starts from the top. And if you go to Old Trafford, you'll see the Manchester United fans, they're always behind their players, they support the players, but they can't support the ownership. And I completely understand, because it feels like somebody's taking the soul of your football club and destroying it. And we had the same problem at Arsenal for a little bit, where we had American ownership in charge, and they didn't really care for the football. And after a few years, when the protests started, and there was talk about the Super League starting, and 20,000 Arsenal fans went outside the stadium and made a noise about it, that's when they changed. But at Manchester United, they just don't care.
Είναι λυπηρό πολλά για τη United.
Yeah, it's for me, as an Arsenal fan, as a kid, Manchester United were our biggest rivals. I hated them. I still do, if I'm being honest. But even I feel sorry for their fans because it was a great club that has just got smaller and smaller and smaller.
Και θέλεις να είναι δυνατή United, δεν θέλεις την κατάντια που έχει.
Το Premier League χρειάζεται το Manchester United να είναι μεγάλη ομάδα. Το Champions League χρειάζεται το Manchester United. Είναι οι πιο μεγάλοι στην Ευρώπη when they're firing and they're good. So it's a big problem.
Η Liverpool, έτσι κάτι λίγο κάπως έτσι...
Το Liverpool πάνω κάτω φέτος. That's one week they're good, the next week they're not. Of course they.
You were unlucky.
We was unlucky.
Specific week.
We was unlucky the other day. 0-0 draw, which was disappointing from an Arsenal point of view, because they were there for the taking and we just didn't have the power on the night to do it. But they reminded everybody that they can go anywhere and play against anybody, and they can get a result. And I think that was good for Arne Slot. And then of course we had all the trouble with Martinelli at the end of the game, and that was a big talking point in England, really big talking point. There was some very big commentators. Yeah, Gary Neville was the biggest critic, I would say, of Martinelli. He went too far. And after the game, I interviewed Arne Slot after the game.
Oh, wow.
And I asked him about the incident, and I thought he was really good and honest about it. He said Martinelli did not know that Conor Bradley had a serious injury. He just wanted to get on with the game. And he said this happens in football, not because of Martinelli, but because we let players dive and time waste and all of these things. And I thought he was good at taking the responsibility away from Martinelli and putting it on the referees and the game. So I thought he handled it really well. Really well.
Η πιο σωστή αντιμετώπιση θα ήταν τούτη, γιατί πρέπει να πιάσεις το άγχος ουσιαστικά που προκαλείται πάνω στον παίκτη. Ακόμα έτσι είσαι confident με την Arsenal και το κυνήγι του τίτλου.
Yeah.
Είσαι,
Yeah.
Ναι, δεν θεωρώ ότι οι υπόλοιπες και η City ότι δείχνει, εμπνέει σου να φοβάσαι ότι...
Yeah, το Manchester City έχει γίνονται consistency που χρειάζεται φέτος.
Ναι, ups and downs όλη την ώρα.
Ups and downs, 3 draws in a row. And I know Arsenal fans were disappointed when they drew with Liverpool. But if you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, they played 6 games in maybe 15 days in the Premier League. And they won 5 of them and drew 1 of them. You can't really ask for more than that. So Arsenal are still confident. The squad is getting stronger and stronger. Players are coming back. And this month they're playing in 4 different competitions. They play the League Cup semi-final tonight, the first game, as we're recording. They played the FA Cup at the weekend on Sunday. They play Premier League next weekend, and then they play Champions League the following week. So it's hard, it's hard, but they have the squad to do it now. They made 10 changes to the team on Sunday in the FA Cup, and they still won.
Top level. Είδες το, εντάξει, πάμε λίγο πίσω. Είδες το, παρακολούθησες το φαντασμένο, δεν ξέρω αν δούλευες στο Chelsea Aston Villa.
Ναι.
Δούλευες ή απλά έβλεπες το?
Έβλεπα το μετά, ναι.
Ήταν τέλειο παιχνίδι.
Yeah, it's great.
Εσύ τι πιστεύεις ότι μπορούσε η Aston Villa να ξαναμπεί στο παιχνίδι ή λες, να τελειώσει με την Chelsea, ας πούμε, να κυριαρχήσει?
Yeah, Chelsea are a funny team because one week they're great and the next week they're not. And they've had changes now as well with the manager. And again, it's nothing to do with what's happening on the pitch. It's to do with the politics of the football club. Enzo Maresca unhappy with the way that the club are running. He comes out, says something that he shouldn't say, and the next day he's gone. So this is the problem we have in the Premier League now. And I don't know how the model is in Cyprus. You would know better. But the sporting directors in England now, they have too much power. And they're coming in and they're telling the coach how to do their job. And then when they argue, the whole relationship.
Director. Σε κάποιες ομάδες, ναι, έχει ισχυρή απόψη, κάποιες δεν έχουν καθόλου, αλλά γενικά, εντάξει, περισσότερο στους owners. Οι owners στην Κύπρο παίρνουν τις αποφάσεις. Ενώ στην Αγγλία είναι διαφορετικό.
Στην Αγγλία οι owners, ας πούμε,
έχουν άλλες επιχειρήσεις, ασχολούνται με άλλα πράγματα, είναι τόσο... Και
βάλουν τον sporting director να κάνει τα decisions εκείνος. So that's who they put.
Σωστό πιστεύεις ο τρόπος των μοντέλων που δουλεύουν?
No.
Not really, ναι.
No, because if the sporting director and the coach don't have the same philosophy, then how can they work together?
Πώς μπορεί να προπονήσει κιόλας ο coach αν πρέπει να ακολουθήσει Το πλάνο του άλλου.
So sometimes you have to either put, when you change the coach, you have to change the sporting director to somebody that's on the same thinking wave as them. It's like the reason Arsenal are so successful now, there is a sporting director, but Arsenal don't have a head coach. They have a manager in Mikel Arteta. So his power is greater than what Maresca's was at Chelsea or what Amorim's was at Manchester United. Yeah, Arteta has that. He has that more of a say and more of a power, and that means the decisions that are made about football, he's the one that's driving them, and so he brings what he wants. He doesn't have players coming to the football club that he doesn't want to work with, or that he can't fit into his team. So that's the
πρέπει να
difference.
πάνω τους η απόφαση τελική, αφού είναι ήδη που αποφασίζουν για την ομάδα. Άρα τούτο είναι το σωστό, όπως το κάνει η Arsenal.
If you went back maybe 10-15 years ago when there was no sporting directors in England, you would have the manager. The manager would make a decision, do I want this player, yes or no? And there would be somebody higher up that would decide whether financially it made sense. So they could stop you signing a player, but they wouldn't be the ones going and looking for them.
Και για άλλους λόγους, σταματούσε λόγω οικονομικούς φανταζομαι.
But the models have changed. They look at some of the clubs in Europe and they want to copy that model. And the Premier League is the best. You don't need to follow what other people do.
Σωστό.
You don't need to copy what Bayern Munich do or what Barcelona do or what Real Madrid do. Because financially, the Premier League is on another planet to these leagues. And so you don't have to follow the trend.
Ανέφερες τη Real, Αλόνσο, καημένος.
Yeah, again, that's a classic example of a great coach, wrong structure.
Ναι, το γεγονός ότι εκείνο που λέμε ότι άμα οι παίχτες σε θέλουν και αυτοί σε ρίξουν ότι να έρθει το τέλος σύντομα, έπαιξε και εκείνο ρόλο, πιστεύω.
Ναι, 100%. Είχε προβλήματα με τον Vinicius Junior.
I don't like him.
No, but this is the problem. When you go and you sign a player and it's not the coach, it's the president. At Real Madrid, it's the president, Florentino Perez.
Ναι.
He will go and he'll promise this player everything.
Όπως έκαμε με τον Εμπαπέ η Παρί, όπως με τον Γιαμάλ, ας πούμε τώρα. Είναι σωστή τούτη η προσέγγιση. Αρχικά έχουν κίνητρο σε 3-4 χρόνια συγκεκριμένοι ποδοσφαιριστές να παίξουν μπάλα. Δεν έχουν κίνητρο σωστά. Άμα ξέρεις ότι είσαι εξασφαλισμένος οικονομικά, είσαι στον decision making του club, τι να περιμένεις στα 25-28 τους.
Yeah, exactly. And when you give them everything, they want more.
Ναι.
And this is the problem that Alonso had. Alonso's idea, and I think we spoke about this last time we did the show, when I said that a great coach, if he goes into the wrong model, can fail.
Ναι.
And everybody looks at the coach, but you have to understand why they failed. And Alonso has failed at Real Madrid, not because he's not a good coach. He's done amazing things with Bayer Leverkusen. It's because he doesn't have the support. He has a president doing one thing and he's doing something else. And so they're working apart, not together.
Barcelona, είδες το τελικό? Είδες το, ναι. Ήταν ωραίος τελικός, πολλά.
When those two play, it's always entertaining. And as great as the Premier League is, there's no game in the Premier League that's as good as Barcelona and Real Madrid.
Ναι.
The Clasico is, for me, number one.
Ακόμα και με τα σημερινά δεδομένα, γιατί εντάξει, είδαμε και κάποια άλλα κλασικό στο παρελθόν που ήταν τα top games ever, αλλά υπάρχουν και αυτά. Το Andrea's Playbook είναι powered by Beton Alpha, που δεν είναι απλά χορηγός της εκπομπής μας, είναι και συμπαίχτης μας, είναι κομμάτι της ομάδας μας. Κάθε Τρίτη με τον κωδικό Tuesday έχετε 3 ευρώ bonus χωρίς κατάθεση, ενώ μένετε μαζί μας, μένετε connected με το Andrea's Playbook, γιατί με τον κωδικό που είναι η ονομασία του καναλιού θα έχετε κάποια extra offers, τα οποία θα σας τα πούμε στη συνέχεια, γι' αυτό μην το χάσετε. Ξεχάσαμε να πούμε για την έκπληξη του αιώνα με την Macclesfield, με την Crystal Palace. Έμαθα κάποιες πληροφορίες για τη συγκεκριμένη ομάδα, θα μου πεις αν ισχύουν. Αν βάλεις όλες τις ομάδες της Αγγλίας σε καταταξή, ranking ας πούμε, έχει τη θέση, ας πούμε, νούμερο 100 κάτι. Τόσο χαμηλού επίπεδου είναι. Επίσης, έμαθα ότι ο πρόεδρος της ευκήκε μια φορά, ήπιε ποτό και αποφάσισε που ήταν μεθυσμένος να αγοράσει ομάδα και αγόρασε την αλήθεια.
Yes, it's true. So Macclesfield were a football club that was in the Football League before, so quite far down the pyramid. They ran out of money and they had to shut the football club down.
Okay.
So they had to drop out of the professional leagues. They're now in the 6th league in England. So they're 6 divisions down from Crystal Palace. He bought the club. They're doing quite well in their division, but they somehow, because the FA Cup starts round 1, but the Premier League teams don't come into it until round 3.
Ναι.
So you have to go through qualifying rounds, then round 1, round 2,
And then
before you even get a chance to play a Premier League team. And the FA Cup is the best cup competition in the world because we have shocks like this all the time, every year. And for Macclesfield to do it was just incredible. The pitch is plastic, it's not grass. So that's...
Okay, έπαιξε ρόλο.
It was cold, it was frosty, it was a plastic pitch.
Κάποιος άλλος λόγος όμως πρέπει να υπάρχει εκτός που τούτους για το αποτέλεσμα. Ενώ ήταν πολλά δεδομένο το υποτιμήσαν τον αντίπαλο, ας πούμε.
I think Crystal Palace, I don't want to say they underestimated Macclesfield because if you're in English football, you see these things happen all the time. And the amazing thing about English football is that even when you go 6 divisions down, you will go to a stadium and there will be 5, 6, 7,000 people there. You don't get that anywhere else, that far down, that you get these crowds and this support. And obviously Macclesfield have support because they were a league football club a few years ago. So that support still exists. They just caught them on a good day. Macclesfield caught Crystal Palace on a good day. They weren't at it. They weren't ready for the fight. Macclesfield, for them, it's the game of their lives. For Crystal Palace, it's just another game. And that's why the FA Cup always provides shocks and surprises. But that's why we love it.
Ναι, μπράβο. Και παίζει με την Bradford στον τέταρτο γύρο, 14 του Φεβράρι. Θα πρέπει η Bradford να φοβάται.
Maybe, yeah. For a club like Macclesfield, they're never going to win the competition.
Ναι.
But the financial reward that they get for progressing.
Πόσα πιάνουν, ξέρουμε.
I think they got about £400,000 for the progress that they made the other day.
Πολλά λεφτά. Για το size τους.
100%. And when they play Brentford, if that game gets selected by the TV companies, which it probably will because of the shock they produced last time.
Αν να πιάσουν και από τα TV rights.
They're going to get TV rights, they're going to get stadium money. And so for a club like that, it can keep them going for 5-6 years. So it's really, really important and really significant for them.
Το ποσό που θα πιάσει για όλους τα ίδια τα ποσά. Δηλαδή για τη συγκεκριμένη ομάδα, εν αρχή ποσό, αν περνούσε η Crystal Palace, ήταν να πιάσει το ίδιο ποσό ή αλλάσουν τα...
Ναι, αλλάσουν επειδή
έχει... Να κάνει τη δυναμική του συλλογού.
Ναι, έχει λεφτά που πιάνεις που τα TV, που το TV rights. So that is the same. But they don't pick every single game. So Macclesfield was lucky that they picked Macclesfield Crystal Palace to be on BBC. So they get money from the BBC, the TV rights, but everybody gets the money for progressing in the competition.
Okay, άρα στα TV rights που είναι η διαφορά οικονομική.
In England and in the Premier League, the TV rights are worth more money than what you get from the stadium.
Ναι, φαντάζομαι αρχικά πρέπει να τα πιο ακριβά.
100%, yeah.
Ούτε στην Ισπανία πρέπει να συγκρίνονται τα ποσά.
No, and also in England, it's not just the TV rights you get from England. The whole world buys the TV rights for the Premier League, so you can make a lot of money.
Νομίζω ότι στην Κύπρο το πιο ακριβό προϊόν να αγοράσεις είναι η Premier League. Και μετά νομίζω είναι το Champions League. Έχω την εντύπωση, χωρίς να είμαι και 100% σίγουρα, αλλά νομίζω έτσι θυμούμαι. Θέλω να δω τώρα, θέλω να δούμε το πρόγραμμα της... Δεν θυμάσαι το που έξω το πρόγραμμα της Premier League την επόμενη αγωνιστική είναι.
For this week, Arsenal playing Nottingham Forest.
Θυμάται το παιδιά.
Manchester United are playing Manchester City, I think.
Θυμάται το.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Εγώ μπορώ να ζήσω χωρίς την Google, εσείς θυμάστε. Ναι, έχει United City το Σάββατο. Η ώρα 2.30. Γιατί παίζουν η ώρα 2.30, Χαρή?
But that's your time. For us, it's 12:30.
Γιατί?
So because it's a TV slot.
Για να μπορεί να παίξουν όλα. Καλά, γιατί δεν το αφήνει τελευταίο?
Because the way we do it in England is we have the two main spots are Saturday lunchtime, 12:30, because in England...
prime time, δηλαδή το lunchtime.
Yeah, prime time on Saturday, 12:30, and the other prime time slot is Sunday at 4:30. So those are the two. So the two big TV companies that have the rights in England are Sky Sports and TNT Sports.
Ναι.
So TNT get the 12:30 game and Sky get the 4:30 game on the Sunday. Those are the big ones. On a Saturday, where we have lots of games at 3 p.m., and it's 5 p.m. you guys' time, there's no game on. They are not allowed to show football in the UK between 3 and 5 p.m. on a Saturday. It's a rule.
Γιατί?
Because they think that if they show football on the TV, people will stop going to the stadiums for the lower leagues. So they purposely keep it. It's called a blackout.
Τέλειο.
So there's nothing. So when we want to watch it, we have to go onto foreign channels. We have to go onto Greek TV or French TV or German TV to find them because we can't watch them.
Είναι ωραίο όμως σκεπτικό για να βοηθήσουν τον κόσμο να υποστηρίζει και να βοηθά τις πιο μικρές ομάδες. Μπράβο.
Because it means in the championship, the division below the Premier League, you still have 25,000-30,000 people going to every game. Yeah, it's crazy.
Και πολλά ψηλό το level κιόλας, ενώ για δεύτερη κατηγορία. Γιατί είναι τόσο σημαντικό το lunch break του Σαββάτου, υπάρχει λόγος?
No, it's just for a few years that's how it's been. They've always picked that slot, and sometimes they put the derby games in the early slot because the police prefer for the game to be early because there's no if the pubs, because in England everybody loves going to the pub. The pubs open at 11. They can't serve alcohol before 11. So if the game is at 12:30, there isn't enough time for people to get drunk and have fights. So they make the games early.
Εξάγεται πολιτισμό, νοήσαν εμάς.
So for years, Arsenal versus Tottenham could only be played at 12:30 on a Saturday because they were scared of there being trouble. So they would make sure that they played early so nobody could go and get drunk in time for there to be problems before the game.
Άρα, αν γιατί να μου πεις αν είναι η ώρα 12.30 είναι το παιχνίδι.
Yeah.
Αφού είναι 11 πρέπει να είσαι 11.30 πρέπει να είσαι γήπεδο. Πώς είναι η ώρα, αν μια ώρα πριν πάει γήπεδο, ναι.
Yeah, περίπου μια ώρα πριν.
Μπορεί και λίγο παραπάνω, ας πούμε.
Yeah, έχει κόσμο που πάει, το στάδιο να ανοίγει ανάμιση ώρα πριν το παιχνίδι. So if it's a 12:30 kick-off, the stadium will open at 11.
Ούτε μια μπύρα δεν προλαβαίνεις να πιεις. Στο γήπεδο τι σερβίρουν?
Κάνουν μπύρες, ό,τι θέλεις. Αλλά you don't have time, you don't have enough time.
Να δεις ποδόσφαιρο, ένα... Οκ, λύθηκε μια απορία.
When they play the derbies on a Sunday at 4:30, they go to the pubs from 11, and by the time they go to the stadium, there's problems. And because the police, there's too many big games, they can't manage all of the games. Yeah. So that's what they do.
Είχα το απορία, γιατί για εμάς είναι άβολο. Εμάς είναι άλλη συνήθεια μας. Αργά βράδυ Σαββάτου, ας πούμε.
And I don't think it's the same in Cyprus, you will know. But the Premier League clubs in England, they have to pay money to the police every year. They have to fund the police for their games because the police won't pay for it, basically, to have extra people on duty when they're playing. So Arsenal might give hundreds of thousands of pounds every year to the police. Same with Manchester United, same with Tottenham. Especially the London clubs, because if there's one day where there's 4 or 5 matches in London, how do you police that and still run the city as normal? So they have to spread the cost.
Απίστευτο το πλάνο που υπάρχει πολιτεία και ποδόσφαιρο στο να μπορεί να γίνει delivered το πράγμα.
Because football is part of English culture. It's the English culture, it's the sport. It's the number one sport by a mile.
Πώς ένιωσες που δεν είχε την κλασική Boxing Day φέτος?
It was horrible.
Είναι αλήθεια.
It was the first year in 5 years που ήμουν σπίτι για το Boxing Day.
Σου άρεσε που είσαι σπίτι?
No. Because I feel like when I'm not working and I should be working, I'm sitting there and I'm saying, why am I not working? Doesn't anybody want to book me this weekend? Have I done something wrong? Is it? So that's how you feel.
Okay, άρα δεν ήσουν excited που για μια χρονιά, ας πούμε, ήταν να σε ζουν τη μέρα σπίτι σου.
No, because I'm so used to Boxing Day being football day.
Ναι, για σας ναι, τώρα να μου πεις διαφορετικό. Εμείς δεν έχουμε κάτι αντίστοιχο για να αντιληφθώ πώς μπορεί να νιώθεις. Εμείς περιμένουμε τα holidays στο Χριστουγέννο, είμαστε το αντίθετο.
Ναι. Συνήθως το Boxing Day παίζουν όλοι. From the top division to the bottom division, everybody plays. But this year, it was only the lower divisions.
Ο πραγματικός λόγος ποιος ήταν? Ήταν τα TV rights, ήταν η αλλαγή στο πρόγραμμα. Ποιος ήταν ο πραγματικός λόγος που έγινε η αλλαγή?
Ήταν το πρόγραμμα του TV, νομίζω.
Το TV όντως.
Και νομίζω φέτος τα Χριστούγεννα ήταν Πέμπτη, ναι. So Boxing Day was Friday, but είχα συμπαιχνίδια Σάββατον και Κυριακή που ήταν already planned.
Ναι, και
so δεν μπορούσαν να παίξουν Παρασκευή και μετά να παίξουν Σάββατον. So it would have made too many changes. If Boxing Day was on Tuesday, they would have played. But this year it just didn't work out.
Ποιο παιχνίδι σου έμεινε έντονο που Boxing Day? Θυμάσαι ένα? Βγήκαμε έναν έτσι επεισόδιο εδώ πριν 2 εβδομάδες, να δούμε να ανεβάλαμε κάποιον παιχνίδι που μπορεί να θυμηθείς. Σε κάποιο συγκεκριμένο που σου έρχεται στο μυαλό?
No, I remember a day for me that was a bit of a crazy Boxing Day. I remember I was first working in football and I didn't want to say no to any jobs.
Ναι.
So people would phone me and I'd say, yeah, I can do this, I can do that. So I got up on a Boxing Day and I drove to Watford in the Championship. They were playing against Millwall at 12:30.
Okay.
So I did that, and then I had to run to my car and get in my car and drive to Emirates Stadium for Arsenal against West Ham. And I did 2 games on one day.
Προλαβες.
I just about made it. And at the end of the day, my throat was hurting.
Λογικό.
But I said, I'm proud of myself that I've managed to do 2 games in one day.
Εν ήσουν στρες στο πρώτο παιχνίδι είναι ότι θα προλάβω.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Ήσουνε, ναι.
Και για μένα το Arsenal game ήταν πιο σημαντικό.
Σίγουρα.
So it was like, the first game I was like, come on.
Ναι, καμία σχέση το επίπεδο των ομάδων.
Και περιμένεις ύστερα να κάνεις τις συνέντευξεις με τους προπονητές and you're sitting there and you're going, how long is it going to be? You're checking the time. But...
Ωραία εμπειρία. Ωραία, πες μας κάτι διαφορετικό. Εμείς βάλαμε μόνο παιχνίδια γιατί δεν είχαμε κάτι τέτοιο ζήσει για να το πούμε. Βλέπω το πρόγραμμα νέων, όπως πάντα έχεις δίκιο για την Arsenal, παίζει με την Nottingham, United City. Τι πιστεύεις να γίνει στο United City?
You never know.
Είναι οι πιο πρόβλεπτες ομάδες που δεν ξέρεις πώς θα...
To be honest with you, νόμιζα ήταν να πιάσει τη θέση ο Ole Gunnar Solskjaer τώρα στο Manchester United.
Έτσι ακούστηκε.
Θα το πιάσει ο Michael Carrick τώρα.
Είδα το πριν, Γουγκλάρα, πριν μιλήσουμε.
So, αν ήταν ο Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, ήταν να πω ότι το Manchester United έχει μεγάλο chance.
Ναι.
Because δεν είναι ο πιο καλός προπονητής.
Ήταν καλή μαζί του όμως.
He understands Manchester United. The fans love him. And if he was in charge, the atmosphere on the day would be special.
Σωστό.
Michael Carrick is a Manchester United hero as well, but not to the same level.
Ναι.
Maybe he's a slightly better coach, but it's going to be interesting. I think Manchester United can get a result. I don't think they'll beat Manchester City, but as an Arsenal fan, if they get a draw, we'll be happy with that.
Άρα απαντάς μου όχι αντικειμενικά στην ερώτηση μου. Εν πειράζει, δικαιούσε. Όπως και εγώ λέω για την Arsenal, δικαιούσε να πεις και εσύ. Εντάξει, είναι και κάτι άλλο ενδιαφέρον. Εντάξει, της Aston Villa που ισοβαθμεί τώρα με τη City, ναι.
Yeah.
Τι θα γίνει με την Aston Villa?
Εγώ νομίζω στο τέλος είναι να πέσουν κάτω τα Aston Villa. Δεν έχουν το squad.
Να αντέξουν
Να
εννοείς.
αντέξουν. Και νομίζω για τον Unai Emery το Europa League είναι κάτι που μπορεί να κερδίσει.
Ναι, πιο σημαντικό.
So I think as the season goes on, he will prioritize that. And the problem is when you play in the Europa League, you have to play Thursday, Sunday. You can't play games on a Saturday
Ναι.
because there's not enough time. So that means you play after everybody most weeks. So you play last, which means there's more pressure.
Επειδή ξέρεις τα αποτελέσματα και τον άλλο.
Yeah, and I think that he will struggle to find the balance as the season goes on.
Δεν υπάρχει περίπτωση να πάει αλλού ο Emery.
There was talk of him going to Manchester United, but it comes back to what I was saying before. For Unai Emery to succeed, he needs structure, and he would have to take all of his staff and his sporting director with him.
Θα δεχτεί λογικά United, άρα δεν πρόκειται να...
It won't happen.
Ναι, αλλά θα έπρεπε μετά από τούτο να πάει κάπου έτσι, να κάνει ένα upgrade.
But the problem is with him, he's upgraded before, and he's always had to step
πήγε
back
λίγο
down.
κάτω. Ναι.
Yeah, he came to Arsenal, didn't work. He was, I would say, terrible for Arsenal. He took Arsenal back 3 or 4 years, and Arteta had to come in and clean the whole thing up. So he didn't do a very good job at Arsenal. He didn't do a good job at PSG either. So I think he's one of those coaches that he's found his level. This is his level, where you can compete, but you don't have that crazy expectation.
Expectations, ναι.
He's in that nice spot in between. And that's where I think Unai Emery belongs as a coach. I think when he takes that step up, he struggles. And it's better for him to stay at a club like Aston Villa.
Έχεις δίκιο. Μα γι' αυτόν και κάνει τόσο πολύ εντύπωση τώρα που πριν εντός που λες ότι ήταν τόσο happy. Εντάξει, πολλά διαφορετικό να πιάνεις ένα σύλλογο ο οποίος πρέπει να πάρει τη λίγκα του το τρόπιο, πρέπει να πρωταγωνιστεί στο Champions League, πρέπει να πάει τουλάχιστον τελικό και ας χάσει. Είναι πολλά διαφορετικό που το να είσαι στην έκπληξη του πρωταθλήματος.
Και στην Αγγλία as well, you have to be able to handle the media. That's one of the most important parts of being a manager in a Premier League club.
Όντως έτσι. Μα κάνουν πόσες φορές την εβδομάδα μιλούν στα media?
They have to do a press conference before every game and after every game.
Ναι.
And in between, they have to give interviews to the rights holders. Now, in England, you have TNT Sports, you have Sky Sports, you have the Premier League's channel, which distributes the Premier League all around the world. Then you have Amazon Prime, who have been doing games as well. So any of those companies can put in a request each week, and you might do 6 or 7 interviews. So if you can't handle that, and Emery's English was very bad when he first came to England, it's still not very good. I'm not criticizing him because my Greek's bad, right? That's why I'm talking in English. But if you can't handle it and you say the wrong things and then the newspapers are writing this about you and that about you, you just become under so much pressure, and he couldn't handle that. Whereas Arteta has done a great job of just keeping everybody at a distance. You ask him a question, he doesn't want to answer it, he doesn't answer it. He shuts you down like that. I've had it done to me many times.
Όντως.
Where I've asked him a question.
Θυμάσαι καμιά ερώτηση να μας πεις?
Yeah, I asked him, Arsenal were playing a league game, and Ricardo Calafiori, who plays left back, but doesn't stay at left back, he goes all over the pitch. I asked Arteta a question, why did you give him so much positional freedom today? Because that's where they scored from, that's where you conceded a goal, because he was out of position. What's your thinking behind that decision? And he said to me, I don't have to explain my thinking to anybody, thank you very much. Shut me down. And that's how they are.
Ναι, μπαίνεις σε ψυχολογία του δημοσιογράφου που μετά την επόμενη φορά να σκεφτείς αν θα ξανακάμεις έτσι ερώτηση. Βάλεις τα όρια σου με τους δημοσιογράφους.
Yeah, if I now go to ask Arteta a question, I sit for 10 minutes trying to figure out how I can ask it in a way that I'm not going to upset him.
Σωστό.
And he's going to answer it properly so that I have an answer. Sometimes I ask him a question and he's like, no, thank you. And he just, next one. And everybody is not afraid of him, but you know your limits. And that's good management.
Νιώθεις άνετα. Ο Σλότ νομίζω απαντά στα πάντα, ναι.
Πες μου ξανά.
Ο Σλότ.
Ο Slot, yeah, ο Slot, sometimes he's too honest, I think.
Ναι.
And
γενικά μιλά, νομίζω, δεν έχει θέμα καθόλου, έτσι φαίνεται.
And then you open up problems for yourself. Because then they take what you said and they turn it into something else.
Κάνουν το στην Αγγλία.
All the time. The newspapers in England are awful.
Ο Γκουαρδιόλα πιστεύεις ότι αγχώνεται την ώρα που τον ρωτούν, που τον πιέζουν?
No, I think ο Guardiola παίζει παιχνίδι μαζί τους.
Παίζει παιχνίδι, θεωρείς. Ακόμα και στις πιο δύσκολα αποτελέσματα.
He goes in and he's very clear from the beginning that he doesn't really want to talk. And he puts you off asking him too many questions.
Okay.
It's part of the way that they handle it, because the media in England is crazy. You say one thing, within 5 minutes, yeah. I said something about Arsenal on the radio maybe 3 weeks ago. And before I even finished the call, I went on to X, and about 50 different X accounts had quoted what I said and was spreading it around.
Ήταν σωστό που έγραψαν ή παραποιήσαν?
Yeah, no, they quoted me,
okay.
But it was something that was an opinion that not everybody will agree with.
Πάντα, ναι.
But then your phone blows up because everybody's having a go at you. So, and I'm nobody. So imagine what happens if you're a manager and you say something like that. Or if you're a player and you say something that people don't agree with. They take this and they turn it into this.
Μπορεί να είναι πιο δύσκολο και που όλα τα υπόλοιπα που έχει να κάνει ένας manager.
I think so, yeah. And I
think πίεση με τα media.
The ones that cope with it, they'll be fine. All of these coaches at a top level understand football. You don't get to that level without understanding football. The ones that really make it are the ones that can juggle all the different problems at the same time. Can I coach my team properly? Can I handle the egos in the dressing room? Can I handle the media? Can I handle what the newspapers are going to say about me the next day? Because in England, the newspapers, they'll wait outside your house and take pictures of you when you're going for a walk with your dog.
Μα έτσι, ακόμα είναι έτσι, όπως τότε με την πριγκίπισσα που ήταν το κυνηγητό, ακόμα υπήρχε το πράγμα.
The same newspapers are still doing the same things. Ruben Amorim was sacked from Manchester United. He came out of his house 1 hour later to go for a walk with his wife. They were taking pictures of him. And they're all shouting things at him. Are you going to take the money from Manchester United? Well, what's he going to say? He's just going for a walk. There's no rules. There's no limit. They don't leave you alone. And you say one thing and they're after you.
Για τα λεφτά, να πιάσει τα λεφτά δηλαδή.
Yeah.
Πρέπει.
He should, yeah. He
Πρέπει,
should. They
δικαιούται.
sacked him, yeah.
Ναι.
That's how it works.
Ποιο είναι το επόμενο παιχνίδι που έχεις να κάνεις περιγραφή?
Επόμενον είναι το Nottingham Forest.
Το παιχνίδι της Arsenal.
Yeah.
Μόνο Arsenal κάνεις?
No, κάνω απ' όλα. But if I have to choose, I would pick Arsenal. And also because most of my work is around Arsenal, I'm more likely to get hired to cover Arsenal. I do other games as well.
Αλλά είναι...
But mainly because I work a lot with Arsenal now, the club.
Ναι.
So for example, on Sunday against Portsmouth in the FA Cup, I was the commentator for the match. So if you go on arsenal.com now, and you watch the game back, or it's me that's on commentating.
Τέλειο. Εντάξει, εσύ έχεις το όνειρο σου, χάρη νομίζω.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. But it means that I don't get to do as many of the other games because if I'm already booked by Arsenal or contracted to Arsenal, I have to do those first. But that's fine with me.
Δεν βλέπω το πρόβλημα να υπάρχει κάπου. Πες μας έτσι, μια μέρα τη ρουτίνα σου, μια καθημερινή σου, ξυπνάς το πρωί. Πώς συνεχίζεις?
Are we talking about a match day? Are we talking about a match day? Or...
Άτε, ναι, match day.
Okay, a match day. I'll get up in the morning. I have a podcast as well. So on the match day, I normally get up early and I will record a podcast, which is like a preview of the match.
Okay.
And then we get that uploaded. Then if it's a home match, I'll get in the car. I'll drive down to Emirates Stadium, maybe 3 hours before kickoff, go into the media room, say hello to everybody, have a little bit of lunch, go into the stadium area, set up my equipment and everything, make sure that I'm connected to the studios. And then I just relax until the game comes around and we start. And then after the game, we have to finish off the radio or TV, depending on what job I'm doing. We have to finish off the show. Then we go downstairs, we wait in the tunnel until the managers are finished.
The mixed zone.
We have two things in England. We have the mixed zone, but we have the interview area where all the rights holders go first.
Okay.
So if I'm doing it for radio, obviously we're rights holders. If I'm doing it for Arsenal, then I'm a rights holder as well. So I wait. I get to speak to both managers, maybe a player, depending on how the game's gone. You know, if somebody scores a hat-trick, they will bring the player, like the other day. They didn't bring Martinelli because of the incident that happened. But they'll bring a player. You speak to the player, then you send all the work that you've done back to the studio so they can edit it and get ready for the show later and obviously the morning sports news for the next morning. And then we go home.
Το ραδιόφωνο μόνο σε match day που ή κάνεις και every day, ας πούμε,
No, I do.
σαν show?
So I do a show on TalkSport every Friday.
And every Friday που είναι?
Every Friday, yeah. Every Friday afternoon I do TalkSport, which is why I have to leave to go back to England on Friday morning. Yeah. Otherwise I would have stayed for the weekend.
Τέλειο.
So yeah, so we do that every Friday. And then I work for BBC London as well, which is... So the BBC, you have the main branch of it, and then you have regional ones. So you have BBC London, BBC Manchester, BBC Birmingham, they break them down.
Άλλοι δουλεύουν στο Λονδίνο, άλλοι δουλεύουν στο Manchester, ας πούμε. Okay.
So all the London clubs are covered by BBC London. But it's great because London as a city, football-wise, we have Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, we have Brentford, Fulham, Crystal Palace, all in the top league. So we have Premier League games live every weekend. And we have a sports show every weeknight from 6 until 8 p.m. So sometimes I do that show as well, or I'm on that show. And obviously on the weekends we have, from the morning we cover from 12:30 all the way up to 8 p.m. just football back to back.
Τέλειο.
So it's amazing, different.
Τελευταία ερώτηση. Νιώθεις ποτέ τύψεις που λείπεις τα Σαββατοκυριακά?
Από την οικογένεια?
Όχι.
I'll tell you what, at the beginning I did, because when I was trying to build a career, I was working so hard during the week that it meant that I didn't see them in the week and I didn't see them at the weekend.
Okay.
Now I don't work as much in the week. So I get to pick them up from school.
Okay.
I get to go for lunch with
balance.
them. Yeah. It's just that my balance comes in the week instead of the weekend. But I still, sometimes there'll be some weekends. Yeah, there'll be some weekends where I work Saturday and I don't work Sunday, or the other way around.
Μπορεί να δουλεύεις και Σάββατο και Κυριακή όμως. Υπάρχει πιθανότητα.
Yeah, it can happen.
Απλά με μια μέρα έχεις το Σάββατο σου, κάνεις spend time, φαντάζομαι, με την οικογένεια.
I think I have learned how to balance it better. At the beginning it was like, because as I told you last time, I changed careers, and everybody, even my dad was saying to me, "Are you sure? Like, are you sure you can do this? Are you sure you're not being silly and you're going to give up a good job to do something that's just a dream and it might not even happen?" And I used to think to myself, sometimes, some weeks I'd think, yeah, I've done the right thing. And other weeks at the beginning I'd think, what am I doing? How's this going to work? So I think at the beginning I was so focused on it not failing that I put too much into it. And I did. Yeah, but I did leave my kids. I didn't see my kids as much as I should have done.
Εντάξει, θέλει θυσίες το να κάνεις focus σε ένα πράγμα και να τα καταφέρεις έτσι όπως το κάνεις και εσύ, δηλαδή που σου σε άλλη δουλειά και πρέπει να πάει σε άλλη και τα λοιπά. Ο τρόπος που ξεκίνησες μόνο να κάνεις focus full
θα τα καταφέρνεις.
How do you manage it? How do you find it?
Για τα weekends και τα λοιπά.
Yeah.
Εντάξει, εγώ νιώθω τύψεις. Την ώρα που φεύγω από σπίτι νιώθω τύψεις, μετά που να πάω σπίτι και να κοιμάται, γιατί είναι οι ώρες που κοιμάται, την ώρα που να πάω σπίτι, μετά ξυπνά τα ξημερώματα, αλλά το ok, δεν είναι πρόβλημα. Την ώρα που πάω σπίτι και κοιμάται, άμα είναι συνεχόμενες μέρες, παράδειγμα, την εβδομάδα ήμουν Σάββατο, Κυριακή, Δευτέρα και τις 3 νύχτες ήμουν εκπομπή. Και 3 νύχτες δεν τον είδα. Είδα τον τη μέρα, ναι, ok, αλλά δεν ήμουν μαζί του στο κρεβάτι να κοιμηθούμε.
Ναι.
Ένιωσα άσχημα η αλήθεια, επειδή ήταν 3 συνεχόμενες. Άμα είναι μια το μου λες εσύ Σάββατο ή Κυριακή, ok. Yeah. Αλλά εντάξει, μετά πάει δουλειά, θυμάσαι ότι αρέσκει σου πολλά, φεύγεις έτσι με καλή ενέργεια, πάει σπίτι και λέει. Θα αφήσω τη δουλειά μου φέτος. Βλέπουμε το για του χρόνου. Ξέρεις.
The thing is as well, if you do what you want to do, what you're passionate about, you're a happier person.
Ναι.
So now when I do spend time with my family, I'm much happier.
Σωστό.
And I'm better to be around.
Σωστό.
When I was in my previous job, I'd be so
moody.
Yeah, and you don't realize it until you get out of it. Until you change, you don't realize how moody it was. When I changed job, I realized, my God.
Τη διαφορά που έκαμες.
I get up in the morning now and I'm happy to get up. What are we going to do today?
Περιμένεις πως να πάει δουλειά, να έχεις από τη δουλειά σου αδρεναλίνη.
Yeah, sometimes I get dressed to go to work and then I'm like, but I leave anyway because I want to go. I'm excited to go. So it's a big difference because if you're not happy, how's the people around you going to be happy?
Και πώς θα κάνεις και την οικογένεια χαρούμενη.
Yeah,
Ναι,
exactly.
συμφωνώ απόλυτα. Χαρή μου, ήταν μεγάλη χαρά που είσαι μαζί μας.
Thank you for having me.
Πρέπει να κάνεις έτσι λίγο πιο πολλά ταξίδια προς την Κύπρο, νομίζω.
Hopefully.
Ανυπομονούμε, θα σε έχουμε ξανά μαζί μας online. Έτσι τώρα, βρες μας μπελά που λαλούμε στην Κύπρο, εντάξει, θα γλιτώσεις. Εύχομαι να περάσεις πολύ ώρα το υπόλοιπο των διακοπών σου. Θα περιμένω και εγώ να παρακολουθήσω όλα αυτά που θα ετοιμάσεις για Πάφο και Κύπρο κτλ. Και καλή επιστροφή.
Thank you.
Αυτά λοιπόν, φίλες και φίλοι. Ραντεβού στο επόμενο. Θα σκεφτούμε τι θα γίνει στο επόμενο και θα τα επικοινωνήσουμε μέσω stories. Δεν ξεχνάτε, έχουμε το κανάλι μας, θα με βρείτε στο Instagram, έχουμε το κανάλι μας εκεί, όπου δίνουμε δώρα, δίνουμε πολλά δώρα, στέλνουμε βιντεάκια, περνούμε πάρα πολύ ωραία. Έχει το όνομα της εκπομπής, Andrea's Playbook. Να έρθετε να κάνετε join, γιατί δώσαμε ήδη τώρα 2 δώρα. Θα δώσουμε κι άλλα. Μπέτον Α, μας ακούει και θα μας φέρει κι άλλα δωράκια. Αυτά. Καλή συνέχεια σε όλους. Bye bye. Άκουσε η Μπέτον Α, ναι.